Hey, how's it going? What's up? Brand new video over the Emerald Tree Skinks. I know I made one not too long ago, but they are my favorite one of my favorite species. So, you know what? Just wanted to throw another video out there, put a little bit more information that I maybe not have covered in that last video with the Emerald. I was gonna combine their names, the Emerald Tree Skinks or the Lamprolisis smaragdina. And you're gonna have to excuse me today. My sinuses, this congestion. I'm in Texas, and if y'all been to Texas, it can't make up its mind on what weather does. And so allergies are really bad down here. But that's why I sound the way I sound, a little nasally. But let's get into the Emerald Tree Skinks. So I know in the last video I went over some of the specifics as far as the enclosure goes, but this time I want to get a little bit more into detail about it. I kind of just glanced over some stuff, but I want to let y'all know what exactly it is that I got going on in here and what it is that I do and why I've been so successful with the Emerald Tree Skinks. Now, as far as the enclosure itself goes, I have my my little trio in this 18 by 18 by 36 tall. You really don't want to have nothing less than that. To be honest with you, they need all the ability to climb, to get into places, to be able to, you know, hide and work their way around. So this is really the smallest I suggest for a trio or a pair. You know, you can go smaller. You can go at 12 by 12 by 24 is what I purchased my original pair in. My original pair is right up there, and they originally came to me in a 12 by 12 by 24, but this 18 by 18 by 36, I feel, just gives them more height because they're arboreal. It's an arboreal species. They spend their days in the trees and up on logs and, you know, up on trunks. So these guys like height, so more height than it is width and depth. Now, I know I said you're not going to need a whole bunch of width and depth to it, but that's, you know, one of them things. It all depends on how many you have. If you have a trio, if you have, you know, a pair. You cannot have more than one male in the enclosure. That's just a no-no. So if you want a trio, 2 females, 1 male, and again, at least an 18 by 18 by 36. You can have a pair in a 12 by 12 by 24, but you're cutting it close. You're cutting it real close. Now, as far as the substrate goes, I do bioactive enclosures in a majority of all my for a majority of all of my animals. My substrate it differs from animal to animal. This one in these come from like I believe it's the Indonesia, Philippine kind of area, and so I use a bunch of fucking sphagnum moss. I use a bunch of sphagnum moss. It's like 60% sphagnum moss, anywhere from 20 to 30% topsoil, and then the rest of it is a combination. I believe it's Zoo-Med or Reptizoo that make the bark. I use that with a little bit of, you know, twigs, bark, other things like that. Things that can break down because there's isopods and springtails in here as well. And so all that just mixing constantly around seems to be the best for getting eggs, if that's, you know, what you're going for. That's what I'm going for, so that's what works for me. But the mixture I use, along with the heat and the UVB bulbs, it seems to keep humidity and moisture without over keeping it. I know it's weird to say, but like I have no drain plug in this one, so there's nothing to, you know, release the excess water. So with this mixture, it's enough that enough of the water doesn't stay just collected and pooled at the bottom in the actual substrate itself. And so this is what I found works best for me. Again, 60% sphagnum, 20 to 30, you gotta eyeball it, you know, but you kind of eyeball it, just depends on what it is you're comfortable with. I've had to test it out a bunch of times, but 20 to 30% topsoil, and then a mixture of twigs, broken down, you know, other kind of junk like the bark and other things like that. As far as the lighting goes now, the lighting, I use the 7% Arcadia bulbs. And I mean, you can use I can't even remember the other provider right now, but I use the Arcadia just because you can get them almost anywhere at any like PetSmart, Petco, whatever. So I use the Arcadia 7%, and then I use I believe that's a 75 watt. Yep, that's a 75 watt. My eyes hurt, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I use a 75 watt heat bulb just so that way they have a basking spot. The temperature varies. That's why I suggest, again, the 18 by 18 by 36. The temperature variant from up here where they're basking at is about a good 90 to 95, depends on how hot or cold the house is, but it's always between 90 and 95 degrees right there. And then as you come down, there's different branches and different levels that light hits, so that way they can get the gradient of heat that they want. I found them chilling right underneath it. They're on the second log, they're farther down here, they're over here, they're out on this little whatever this plant is. They're out here on this thing chilling. They're even on the other side just because, you know, that's the gradient of temperature that they want. So again, 7% Arcadia bulb. You gotta use that Arcadia bulb. I have grow lights because I grow plants elsewhere in the house. So there's grow lights above this over there. And so that's what keeps all my naturalistic plants good. But 7% Arcadia bulb, 75% basking spot. And then again, if you want, you can put LEDs or you can do a grow light. I keep grow lights because I keep plants, but grow light for sure if you're doing bioactive and if you got live plants at the bottom. Now, as far as food goes, I use that junk right there. That's not all I use, but that is the Pangea mix, the red pack with insects. Jesus Christ, bro. Like, really, bro? Really? That's how we're doing? That's the red Pangea with insects. I use the growth and breeding type as well, and that's just, you know, every so often I alternate the two different packs, but they seem to love both. They don't mind either one of them. But then I supplement every week. You have to. These guys eat live feeders, and so anything from crickets. Mine have never done dubious. They have never been a fan of the dubia roaches, although silkworms are a treat for these little guys. These guys will knock back 4 or 5 of them. The female especially, the female loves the silkworms, especially when she has a clutch, you know, incubating inside her little, let's see if we get close, inside her little belly. But the female loves the silkworms. Male loves them too, but just not as big of a fan. The other female is in here as well. She's in there hiding somewhere. She's being a little shit right now. But you need food in several spaces. I have food up there, food right there, food right. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing down there? Oh, I think it's Snooky time. Is it Snooky time? I don't know. We're gonna see. Oh, I think I put her out of the mood. I think I put her out the mood. Anyway, I have several spots for their food. There. You need different levels for them to find food. You know, they don't eat food out of one spot in nature. That's a little bit of, you know, a little cup just to collect water. When I mist it myself once a day, but then I have a misting system that goes off once a day in the morning as well, and then I mist again in the afternoon just to make sure and keep humidity levels up. I like to keep it around 75 to 80%. That's what, again, I found works for me. I get clutches of eggs. They seem happy. The male is always ready. Let's see if he'll do it. The male seems to, again, never have a problem, but that's what works for me. Look at him. You see him? You can't tell me they're not happy. They're, bro, we have such a cool little bond. Let's see. Don't mind at all. Tickle.